I just tested a new exciting framework called Primate, and I compared it with NextJS. In this video, I'm going to talk about the results, and in the next video, I'm going to show you how I built the project. Here is the project that I built in Primate and in NextJS. As you can see, they are identical. I'm pulling from a free-to-play games API, which is right here. And if I call this URL, I get the following result. In this video, I'm not going to go into the details of how to actually set up Primate, but I will do that in the next video. Instead, I'm going to talk about the results. So first, let's take a look at the HTML that's built. And the first thing that you'll see is that there is not much going on in the HTML. You basically get everything that you expect. The HTML is the same on both projects, but as you can see, there's nothing else in here. There's not a div with a ID app or anything like that. This is not a single page app on both sides. But as you can see here, very clean and very simple. And we have only 2 script tags in the HTML in the head portion. Now moving on to Next.js. And as you can see here, there's a lot more going on in the HTML itself with a bunch of script tags. And we do have the HTML right here. But let's take a look at the network tab and we'll refresh. And I will do the same thing here. We'll go into the network tab and refresh. And right here we had 62 milliseconds, right here we had 175. So I did this a number of times, and overall my results were as follows. It went up to 12 times faster on the load times with Primate. The HTML was cleaner, as we saw earlier. I was using the development environment to do this, so just keep that in mind. I found that it was also clearer when I was actually building the application. There's a clearer separation of concerns in the code. And I'm not going to go into detail in this video, but if you want to see more on that, check out the second video. So overall, I did prefer the developer experience with Primate. It felt like there was a lot less magic going on behind the scenes. In fact, it felt like there was no magic. Whereas with Next.js, you just feel like there's some sort of crazy stuff going on in the background that you don't have a hand on. And if you care about your disk space, the node modules folder was 5 times smaller than Next.js. And keep in mind, we are using the same setup, and this is with a very small project. And the gap got even bigger with the build folder, with the build coming up to just 2,000 bytes on Primate versus 177,000 bytes. Now these are both very small, but keep in mind that actually Primate is built with a philosophy of as little dependencies as possible and as little of a footprint as possible. So this gap is only going to grow larger as your project gets larger. So I was very pleased with Primate. If you want to see how I actually set up the project, you can check that in part 2.